Nearly half of all home sellers have regrets about the agent they chose to sell their house. Don't gamble with the sale of your house. If you're serious about the results you want to get when selling your house, stick with me for the next 10 or so minutes. If you're not, scroll on now. This video is not for you. Hi, I'm David from Gold Coast Real Estate Agents, and over the last 20 years I've sat down with thousands of people like yourselves, sat across the table from them, and there's one common theme. I wish the heck I'd have known what you're about to tell me before I listed and sold my home. That being the case, I've decided to put a video together to help you by giving you enough information about what happens behind the scenes, some of the trickery, some of the lies, some of the misconceptions within the real estate industry, to hopefully help you make an informed choice when you go forth and choose an agent to sell your home. Because it shouldn't be a gamble, it shouldn't be a lucky dip. You need to make an informed choice. The next piece I want to talk about is why agent choice is so important. To get a real estate license in Queensland at the moment, some courses are around about $239, and they really do cover off mainly compliance. There's not a lot, there's no compulsory upskilling, there's no extra learning, there's no obligation to learn negotiation or to learn how to market or anything else like that. It's mainly about compliance. So your agent selection is critical. You need to know what they've done. I actually went through and wrote a couple of books. I've written one on real estate marketing and one on real estate negotiation, hoping that some of the agents would pick these up and read them and perhaps be a benefit. It's a sad fact that less than 5% of people, or 5% of agents in Queensland, have actually picked up and read a book on negotiation. So your agent choice is absolutely critical, because a good agent will make a difference between 3 and 10% at sale, which is probably more than what you're going to pay them in commission anyway. So agent choice is important. The next thing I want to address is the common misconception that all agents are the same. As I said in the last little piece, there's no compulsory upskilling, and some agents will go on and do courses and improve their skills. Some don't. Some have a natural ability. Some are very, very good talkers. Now, how you market a property and how you negotiate is absolutely critical. All agents are not the same. Some have different backgrounds. Some come through different training. It's probably worth your while to find out more about where your agents come from, what their past vocation was, and what their interests are, and see if they're interested in what you are. You can't always work with an agent. Some agents just are not a good fit. They have different beliefs or different views to what you do. So finding an agent, and they're not all the same. They don't come out of a vending machine. So you might as well take the time, and from that 14-month out period, during the dream stage, start to learn and start to engage a lot of agents, so you can start to learn their personalities and find someone that you can work with. Someone that you can work with and someone that you can trust is absolutely critical. It seems that some people are a little bit confused when it comes to choosing an agent, and they're not sure whether to go with a big brand or whether to go with an independent. And sometimes they'll just say, oh, we'll go for the one with the most amount of signs, or we'll go for the biggest brand. Now, I've actually worked for 3 of the larger franchises, and the one thing that was common in all of those offices I worked in was the culture of the office. And the culture from the top down was centered around KPIs and GCI. Now, KPIs, key performance indicators or index, and GCI, gross commission income. Now, there was a lot of pressure on us to do the numbers. So, and a lot of times there was actually a scale of your remuneration, like your percentage split was actually governed by a KPIs. So if you sold X amount and brought in X amount of GCI per month, you would get so much for having that KPI. So then your split would actually go up. You could get as high as 60% of the cut if your KPIs were high. So what that actually meant was that we were focused on getting the numbers through so that we wouldn't lose money. So we'd stay at that higher commission rate. So it ended up being that we were actually penalised for spending more time and focused on the result. Getting the result, getting it in and out was actually the main thing to do. That was the main focus. And so actually spending, by doing a better job, we were actually paid less. So bear that in mind. I call it, if you enter into an agreement or you hire an agent from one of these offices where they're under a lot of pressure to meet targets, you become what I call KPI fodder. Now the other thing too is, if you're thinking, okay, the big brand, oh look, I saw 10 of their signs up, chances are that's 10 different offices and 10 different agents. And trust me, they don't work together, they compete against each other. I know that from when I was working for the big brands. So it's not always the case, but it's something to think about. Those guys are under a fair bit of pressure to do numbers, and it comes from the culture. When you're running a big business like that, you need numbers, and if you want to be a number, if you want to be part of what they call the numbers game, which I think is disgusting, it's not a game, we're dealing with your largest asset. If you want to become a part of a numbers game, then have a look at the big franchises. You may feel that they're safe or they've got more technology. That's not the case. That's just not the case. Everyone's got access to the same technologies. There's so many good pieces of software available to all independents and even sole operators. So don't be fooled and lured in. Hey, there's some great agent working for those big brands. Absolutely. But don't be lured in to choosing one just because they've got a big name and they appear to be doing the most in the area. The next thing I want to address, and I love this one, is the perception there's such a thing as an area specialist. Okay, so an area specialist might know what the last 3 houses sold for, or where to get a good cup of coffee, or where the local school is, the catchments, where the local bus stops, that sort of thing. But if you weigh it up, what's most important? Someone that is a good negotiator and someone that is a good marketer, because they can jump on Google and 30 minutes later or 30 seconds later, they know just as much about the area. They may not know who lives in each house, but they know enough to do a better job. Now, so you've got to weigh it up. Is someone who knows the local shops or everything, or someone that knows more about negotiation and marketing? So what you're actually looking for is, you're not looking for someone who knows the area, you're looking for someone who knows their job. Someone who knows their job properly, can do the research, walk into any area and get a great result. I've actually proven that myself time and time again. So don't be fooled into thinking that you need an area specialist. Don't be afraid to shop outside of an area to find the agent that's going to do the best job and bring the most value to your transaction. And here we go with another favourite of mine. I've often sat across the table from some people that are willing to list their house, and they said, but the other agent had 5 buyers for my house. I have 5 buyers for your house. It's got to be the biggest lie in real estate. That you do not have a buyer for your house until you have a signed contract in front of you that you're willing to accept, not before. Okay, so having 5 buyers for your house, yeah, don't fall for that one. The other one is, I will have buyers. I've got 6,000 buyers in my database. Well, guess what? I've got 6,000 buyers in my database, and some of them have been there for 7 years. And do you think they're going to buy your house? No, they're not. There are 2 databases in this country which are exceptional. They are added to daily, they are cleaned daily, and they have data that is less than 30 days old. They're called realestate.com.au and Domain. Nowadays, you actually have to register to be able to put an inquiry through on either of those 2 platforms. So therefore, what you've got is you've got data that is 30 days old of how many people are looking in that area, and you've got fresh people coming in all the time. Now, buyers are not all going to come to me and inquire on my properties, but they're going to go to realestate.com and Domain. So your best source of a database, and we've all got access to it. What you have to do is find out who uses it the best, who knows how to use those 2 databases the best. So don't get fooled by, I've got 6,000 people in my database, or I've got 5 buyers for your house. What I've done over the last 5 years, or maybe 6, maybe longer, but especially the last 5 years, I've really focused. I've watched the industry change. I've watched how you prospect, how people find us, where we are to be found, Facebook, Google, all the different things. And so what I've done is I've really focused on what do people want. I've had a lot of discussions. What do people need? What do they want? And there's probably really three main fears that people have, and that is getting stuck with a dud agent, having an agent that, a big brand name agent or whatever, that comes in and they see him at and you've all heard these stories where they met him at the listing presentation, then one of their subordinates or one of their office juniors came out and did them their open homes, and then you saw them again at settlement. I call that now you see them, now you don't. And then you get the little precious ones that won't answer their phone after 5 o'clock and blah, 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 blah. And then the last one is where I've often been to an appraisal or whatever, and I've had another agent quote $200,000, $300,000 more than I think the house is worth. Now, if you choose an agent who quotes you the lowest commission and the highest price, the highest sale price, there's a very real chance you've picked the worst negotiator and the biggest liar. So what we've done to address that, first of all, if you're scared of getting stuck with a dud agent, we now have our no lock-in agreement. This here supersedes the Form 6, that our agreement stands. So if you hire us, and we do like, every agent likes an exclusive agreement, and they're normally 90 days. However, if you engage us and we've lied to you, we've misled you, or you don't like us, you can dismiss us inside that 90 days. You don't have to be stuck, because that can hold you off the market. If you fall into a disagreement or you can't work with your agent, then you need to be able to get rid of them, because you don't want to be sitting there for 90 days. A lot can happen in 90 days. You don't want to be there. The second thing with now you see them, now you don't, an agent should be at every meeting, every open home, every valuation, every building and pest. They should be there to defend you, your price and your property. That's what you're paying them for. So what we've done is we've given a personal performance guarantee. The personal performance guarantee gives a list of tasks that we will be there for. Now the last one, which is, everyone says I'm insane, but we actually give a price guarantee. So what we do is we sit with you and we establish fair market price. We'll back ourselves to say we can get you fair market price or better. So fair market price will be based on data, what's sold, what's for sale, and what's actually happening in the market pressures. So we come up with what we call fair market price. Then we have a look at what your wish price is. So there might be a big gap between fair market price and your wish price. So that becomes our zone of agreement. So if we can get you your wish price, absolutely, we'll go for it. But fair market price, we will write it down. If we can't get you fair market price, and there it is, it's in writing, it's an agreement. If we can't get you fair market price, we relieve you of the obligation to pay our commission. A lot of people think I'm nuts, but here's the thing. If you've got an agent that's quoting you a massive price, ask them to sign one of these. If they say no, chances are they're probably lying, and you don't want a liar working for you, do you? Now we're coming towards the end of all I'm going to say here, because I don't want to hold you up too long. But what I'd like to do now is make available to you some good resource. Like I say, I've written a couple of books on negotiation. If you decide you're going to sell the property yourself, and during the consultation, if we come out and meet with you and you decide, well look, I'm going to do it myself, I'm happy to give you a copy of those books so that it help you get things right so that you can do it yourself. Now I've also got a complete seller's toolkit, and in that seller's toolkit I've got lots of information. There's some calculators in there. There's a mortgage calculator, which is probably more substantial than the banks. It actually shows you what you can save by making extra payments, making weekly payments, using an offset account, that sort of thing. It actually shows you how you can reduce the term of your mortgage, and you can say how much money you'll save in interest payments. So there's that calculator. There's a complete buying and selling cost that you can go through, and you ring up, you find out how much this is, that is. You put it in there, and you can print out a spreadsheet which is going to give you your absolute total costs so you know where you stand. The other one's a stamp duty calculator. A lot of people are a bit confused with stamp duty and how much they're going to be paying. Right, so then we've got a compliance section. I've got all the compliance documentation regarding pool safety certificates, smoke alarms, the new smoke alarms, the new disclosure laws that are coming out, what you have to disclose, what you don't, the tax withholding, like for overseas investment, you're taxed, like if you're selling a property and you're an overseas investor, they'll hold a percentage back. So all those articles are in there. Then there's a lot of help articles which shows you the cycle of the selling, what to expect. There's an article in there which tells you pretty much what we do in this video of how to select an agent. There's 93 ways to get your home ready for sale and home ready for photography, ready for sale. There's also an article in there. We like to give people a little bit of help. We feel that if your house is not quite as ready as what you are to sell, we actually, through a third party, we organise a small loan for if you want to get carpet or painting done or whatever, to bring your house up to the point where you're going to get maximum dollar. I'd hate to see you lose money on the sale because the presentation wasn't right. So we'll actually assist you with that. We'll organise through a third party a loan to get those works done. You have you have to list with us, and then you get to pay that out on settlement. So there's nothing coming out of your pocket. There's a lot of resources in there. Now all you have to do is click on the link below and let us know whether you want us to actually come out, either myself or my team, and if you can't work with me, that's okay. If you want us to come out, like I've got a husband and wife team, if you feel more comfortable, or if you feel more comfortable dealing with females, Mel is an excellent agent. So one of us can come out and have a chat to you. Or if you just want the seller's toolkit, click the link below, fill it out, what you want. Send us where you want it sent to. Give us an email address and we'll pop it straight out to your inbox. If you want us to come out and have a talk with you, if you're really keen to sell your house and you're within that 14 months, somewhere along that seller's journey, we can start to step you through and help you get your home ready and help you assist you to getting a good result. Anything else you need, just reach out for us. Like I say, click the link below, fill out what you want from us and let us know, and we're only too happy to help you. Now there's one last thing before I sign off. A lot of times when an agent puts up, and I know I do it, I look at other agents advertising and see what they got to say, and it's quite good. It's quite interesting to see where they're at and who's offering what services. It keeps you sharp. But there'll be agents looking at this video that I've made here, and you may be sitting in an office where you do feel the pressures from KPIs and you're expected to get a large GCI, and you feel that you can't offer the service you want, you're restricted in one way or another. If that's the case, reach out. I'm always looking for good agents with a good heart and that are integral, with a good work ethic. I'm always looking for someone that can join in with what we do, so that we can serve our people a whole lot better. If that's you, once again, reach out to us. I'd love to have a chat with you. Look, thanks for listening, everybody. I've taken up probably nearly 15 minutes of your time. I appreciate your time, and I know I value your time. But thank you very much, and I hope to be seeing you soon.